For today's green deck, it's a different focus on Rosemon and Rosemon X. While true you could build wide and adjust your top ends in a Bloomlord or Rosemon, a lot of my builds for this are aiming more so to a single stack build. With BT9 Palmon, this level 3 can stop wider building boards from being built. Unlike previous videos, the egg choice for this deck is going to be Gummymon. Gummymon is your method of card draw due to the fact that you have so many ways to suspend your opponent's Digimon. When you do, you'll not only be able to draw a card, but also gain memory through other secondary effects. Alternatively, you could go the route of suspending your own Digimon, in the case of Togemon, to draw. Level 3 wise, you honestly keep it pretty simple. Lilamons can find your vegetation, plant, and fairy Digimon along with Yoshino off the top 4 cards, but also provide you an inheritable for reducing your cost by 1 if you have a green Tamer. BT14 Palmon can provide ways for you to steal memory, especially if you promote then go into Palmon X to suspend a Digimon and gain 2 immediately. That start of main effect can be nice. Palmon X, though only at 2 copies, is mainly because you can only evo off Palmon for that when Digivolving effect, and there aren't enough in the deck to honestly go around. And the best part is also that when your green Tamer is played, once per turn, you gain 1 memory. But when hitting these green tournaments, Palmon will be supreme in stopping your opponent from playing Digimon by card effects. Not just Bloomlordmon decks, but the delay of Double Typhoon as well. Moving to level 4s, with BT13 Sunflowmon, you can Digivolve into a Digimon card with Fairy and its traits from your hand for its Digivolution cost. If Digivolving by this effect, reduce the Digivolution cost by 2. Promoting Palmon up with 2 memory can easily get you into this, and potentially you're level 3 for a lot of free value. One difference for this video is that I'll cover some combo plays. BT14 Togemon is another MVP level 4, for the fact that you can suspend a green Digimon you have, including this one, to play a Tamer for a reduced cost of 3. Meaning if you do, you can easily play out Mimi Tachikawa for free for searching or stabilizing your memory for the following turn with Yoshino for 1. Togemon X is also here for another level of Digivolution and suspending and stunning suspended Digimon. But for level 5s, you have quite a few options. With Lilamon, this Digimon might play Yoshino when you Digivolve into her. It also provides Security Attack +1 if your opponent has a suspended Digimon in play. On the flip side, you have BT14 Lilamon for that Surprise Blast evolution factor, and the X evolution variant for the extra draw. While true, it might be harder to see this go up due to the lack of x-antibody, the inheritable also provides a DP buff of +1000 DP as well. Feel free to adjust the ratios, but I do think Lilamon is really important here. Rosemon-wise, you run 4 of the 1 from BT13, mainly for the fact that her ability can interrupt potential plays against your opponent. Should they have multiple Tamers out when they suspend 1, you can proc her all turns effect to suspend another Tamer before they can use its effect. Remember, you have to resolve each Tamer in play at a time, but introducing Rosemon X is where all the fun can begin. While she does Digivolve for a cost of 1 from Rosemon, this Digimon has many ways to suspend the entire battlefield. On Digivolve, suspend 1 Digimon and 1 Tamer, and they can't unsuspend until the end of your opponent's turn. In addition to this, they also have 2 opponent turn effects, in which when an opponent's Digimon is played, you may suspend 1 of their Digimon, robbing them of the ability of using them for Digisorption. And when a Digimon is moved out of the breeding area, if you have Rosemon in the sources, you again suspend 1 of their Digimon. While you could run the BT14 variant, the fact that the Digimon played can be immediately suspended makes the x-antibody variant probably a much better way to deal with your opponent's board. For the top end though, instead of Quartzmon, I went with the watered down version with Rosemon Burst Mode. When Digivolving, suspend 1 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, and then nothing unsuspends at all, whether it be the unsuspend phase or by effect. When attacking, you get to trash the top card of your opponent's security for every 2 Digimon cards and or Tamers they have. The wider the board, the more value. While Quartzmon does have a permanent lock, one thing I do like about Rosemon Burst Mode is that it is a fairy type for the search. Not to mention you have free Evo potential with Yoshino, but you must be Rosemon, not Rosemon X. For options, there's strictly Poison Ivy and Agility Training. One thing I love about Agility Training is, again, it can't be countered by anything for this particular format. But Poison Ivy is a tech choice so to speak, mainly because you give the same effect as you did from BT14 Palmon. Meaning if you promote a Palmon and play the option even at 1 memory, you can make one particular Digimon lose 4 memory whenever they become suspended. Follow it up with Palmon X, and you've got yourself 4 memory to play with. Tamer-wise, Yoshino provides you not only a memory fixer, but when you digivolve into a vegetation, plant, or fairy Digimon, you can suspend this Tamer to gain 1 memory, easily making your plays flexible with 4 memory. Mimi Tachikawa provides you not only a search, but a memory gain when an effect suspends a Digimon. Doesn't matter if it's yours or your opponent's. Strength-wise, I think this deck has a bit more of an offensive and control strategy. The one thing it lacks, however, is removal. You could very well bring in 2 giant missiles, but it doesn't feel as synergistic to the other option cards. For combos, setting up with Palmon in the back and a Mimi is already a very strong play. If your opponent does put out a Digimon to choke you to 1 memory, you can immediately promote up Palmon to give your opponent's Digimon that all turns effect, that if their Digimon becomes suspended, they lose 2 memory. Digivolve into Palmon X can now suspend that Digimon and put you to 3 memory. Mimi can suspend to give you another memory and put you to 4. Now you can Digivolve into Sunflowmon for a cost of 1, considering your inheritable is now active with Palmon X being a buffer. Suspending the Sunflowmon can now let you Digivolve into Lilamon or any level 5 for that matter for a cost of 1, putting you to 2 memory. Assuming you've Digivolved into Lilamon, this does let you play Yoshino for free, establishing a memory fixer next turn and gaining a memory through Palmon X. But if you do have the whole lineup, you can now Digivolve into Rosemon and still keep turn, considering you have Sunflowmon's reducing inheritable cost. You could attack over their suspended Digimon, and then Digivolve into Rosemon X, leaving them at 1 memory if it wasn't Lilamon, and then if they promote on their turn, they immediately get suspended. What are your thoughts on Rosemon X being another option for green format? Arguably, I'm very hesitant on building wider boards of this format, mainly because Palmon is going to be especially obnoxious, and green doesn't really have removal. Let me know your thoughts on this build, and I'll catch you on another green deck tomorrow. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.